Hi, my name is Jessica Mabey and this is my career speech. Choosing one career to do for the rest of your life is a very daunting decision, yet it is a decision that we all have to make. What do you want to be when you grow up? This is a question that we've all been asked since we were little kids. The problem now is that we are grown up, and what should we be? As a kid, my career choice would change every week. One thing I always knew is that I didn't want to work in an office space. I love to be active and to be out and about while not being confined to a small space. I also like to have change in my day-to-day life and to be able to set my schedule. As an interpreter, my days would be filled with different people and different conversations. I'd be able to set my own schedule and to choose what days I work. The deaf community is small, which means I'd also be around familiar faces. All around, it seems like the perfect fit for me. I fell in love with ASL when I had to take a year of foreign language. The only reason I ended up in the class was actually because I had a friend who was already enrolled. I had no idea the impact that the class would have on me or how it would change my life. I love being able to be involved in the deaf community and to be able to communicate with the deaf and the hard of hearing. There have been various times that I have been able to use ASL to communicate, and especially while I'm at work. When I was 16, I was working my first job, which was at a movie theater, when a deaf individual would come in regularly, like once a week. At first, I didn't know any sign language and I had a very hard time talking to him, but over time, I went to class and I continued to learn the language, and then we were able to talk and we became good friends. Those that are deaf and hard of hearing don't have the choice to learn how to hear, yet we have the choice to learn sign language. Although I'd love it if everybody knew sign language, it's just not possible. Interpreting allows for there not to be a language barrier, and it gives everybody a chance to be part of the conversation. I am very much a people's person. I love to meet and to be around new people, and overall I'd rather be around others than to be by myself. As an interpreter, it is essential to have good people skills in order to effectively translate from one language to another. You have to be comfortable meeting and being around new people and places. As an interpreter, you could be anywhere from a rock concert, such as right here, to be at a courthouse, such as here. Interpreters are needed everywhere. Each location and each session brings new possibilities with new people. Becoming an interpreter is not as easy as it might seem. It goes way past just learning the two languages. As CareerAddict.com says, language fluency is the bare minimum of the requirements. In order for an interpreter to become successful, they will need to be able to maintain unbiased and to ensure that their main priority is to transfer exactly what the source party intends to convey. Interpreters need to keep the same energy as those in the conversation and also have to have a good understanding of the cultures behind the languages. Like most professionals, the best way to become better at signing is to practice, and then practice some more. In order to become certified in interpreting, there are a few steps you need to take. FluentU.com puts these into 5 steps. The first step is to begin with the basics. This means practice signing while also learning more about the culture behind the sign language. I have done this through classes on my own and through hours of community service. The next step is to decide what type of interpreter you'd like to be. Interpreters are needed almost everywhere. This is because deaf and hard of hearings by law is to have an interpreter for educational purposes, in court, in hospitals, and so on. I have decided that I want to be a freelance interpreter. As Registry of Interpreters for Deaf defines freelancing, it means you are responsible for finding and maintaining your own client base. The third is to research needed certifications. Different agencies will want different qualifications, so it is essential to research this before applying. There are a series of tests that one has to pass in order to be certified for interpreting for the deaf. The next is to tailor your education. It is important to prepare if the certificate program is not enough. This is why I have decided to go after my bachelor's and to have a few extra schooling under my belt. Having a degree makes you more prepared and makes you look better than your competitors when applying to a job. The final step is to practice with real-world language resources. Some ways to do this is to volunteer your time and conversate with those that are already in the field. I have done this by going to various deaf events and always taking the opportunity to sign with those I have come with contact that are deaf and hard of hearing in public. Interpreting helps everybody be involved in the conversation. Through my ASL classes and my friendships, I have found a love for ASL. My hope is that by hearing about my love of ASL, it encourages you to take just a few minutes to learn a couple of signs. By being able to sign the alphabet, that means that you're able to fingerspell any word, and in turn, that means that you can communicate with people that are deaf and hard of hearing. Because I like to meet new people, interpreting is perfect for me. Interpreting goes way past me just knowing the two languages. It is a job that takes years of experience and practice. In order to become a certified interpreter, you need to pass certain administered tests, and having a bachelor's or master's degree is recommended and will help you land jobs. Thank you for listening.